Have you ever thought about getting remarried in your senior years but wondered if you're making the right choice? Have you ever wondered if the warmth of love and partnership can truly blossom a second time, especially when the leaves of your life have turned to autumn colors? Or perhaps you're asking yourself, at your age, is it worth risking your heart, your financial security, and your family relationships for another chance at love? These questions aren't merely philosophical ponderings, they're deeply personal considerations that thousands of people over 60 face each day when contemplating remarriage. The answers you seek could mean the difference between years of fulfillment and partnership, or years of regret and complicated family dynamics. I'm Vernon, and today I'll share 5 essential truths about remarrying after 60 that might just change how you view this momentous life decision. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle once observed that love is composed of a single soul inhabiting 2 bodies. This timeless wisdom reminds us that the human heart's capacity for connection doesn't diminish with age, it often deepens, enriched by life experience and personal growth. Yet remarriage in our later years carries unique considerations that younger couples simply don't face. Recent studies from the National Center for Family and Marriage Research reveal that approximately 50% of adults 65 and older have remarried, showing that finding love later in life is increasingly common. But just because something is common doesn't mean it should be entered into lightly. Today, I'll guide you through 5 crucial truths that every person over 60 should contemplate before saying, "I do" again. Each truth carries both ancient wisdom and modern relevance, helping you navigate this significant life transition with both your heart and mind engaged. Pay special attention to truth number 4. It contains insights that could completely transform your approach to blending families in your golden years. If you found the video helpful, please subscribe to my channel and share this video to help others discover these insights. Now, let's explore these truths together, drawing from both timeless philosophy and practical reality. When considering remarriage after 60, the first truth is that emotional readiness has little to do with your age and everything to do with your inner landscape. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely noted, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This perspective applies beautifully to love in later life. The question isn't whether you're too old to marry again. It's whether you've processed your past relationships with honesty and clarity. My neighbor Elizabeth lost her husband of 42 years to cancer. 2 years later, she met Richard at a community art class. Their connection was immediate, but Elizabeth hesitated. She felt this strange guilt, as though falling in love again somehow diminished her first marriage. This is remarkably common. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Aging Studies found that 68% of widowed seniors experienced conflicting emotions when entering new relationships, a mixture of excitement and guilt, hope and fear. Elizabeth worked with a counselor to understand that her new relationship didn't replace or diminish her first marriage, but rather represented a new chapter. Her late husband would want her to be happy. Their love remains part of who she is, but it doesn't mean she can't create new joy. Others rush into new relationships to fill the void left by divorce or death. My friend Harold admitted he couldn't stand in the silence in his house. 6 months after his divorce, Harold remarried, a decision he later regretted. He wasn't marrying Janet. He was marrying the idea of not being alone. Take a moment right now to assess your emotional readiness with these reflective questions. Have you fully processed the end of your previous relationship? Can you speak about it without overwhelming emotion? Are you seeking a partner to enhance your already complete life, rather than to rescue you from loneliness? Write down your honest answers. This self-awareness is your first step toward making a sound decision. Remember, as Aristotle taught, true friendship, which includes romantic partnership, should be based on mutual goodwill and virtue, not merely on utility or pleasure. When you approach remarriage from a place of emotional wholeness rather than emotional hunger, you create space for a healthier, more fulfilling partnership. I'd love to hear from those of you who have navigated this emotional journey. How did you know when you were truly ready for a new relationship after loss or divorce? Please share your insights in the comments below. The second truth about remarrying after 60 concerns an area that many find uncomfortable to discuss, but is absolutely essential: financial transparency. As the Roman philosopher Cicero noted, the foundation of justice is good faith. In marriage after 60, this good faith must extend fully to financial matters. By this stage of life, you've likely accumulated assets, debts, investments, insurance policies, and various financial obligations. You may have children and grandchildren for whom you've made inheritance plans. All of these elements become immediately relevant when considering remarriage. My colleague Dr. Sarah Thompson, a financial planner specializing in senior finances, shared a cautionary tale about her clients, Robert and Carol. They were deeply in love, but neither fully disclosed their financial situations before marriage. Robert had significant medical debt he hadn't mentioned, while Carol had set up trusts for her grandchildren that severely limited their joint financial flexibility. Their lack of transparency led to serious tension when these issues inevitably surfaced after the wedding. What could have been addressed through honest premarital conversations instead became a source of conflict. Research from the Institute for Divorce Financial Analysts indicates that financial disagreements are among the top 3 causes of divorce in couples over 60. Yet these conflicts are often preventable through thorough financial disclosure and planning. As you watch this video, consider which of these essential financial conversations you've had or need to have with your potential spouse. Creating complete financial inventories of assets, debts, and income sources. Discussing Social Security implications, particularly for widows and widowers. Exploring whether a prenuptial agreement makes sense for your situation. Reviewing how your financial decisions might affect adult children. My neighbor James and Marjorie approached this beautifully. Before their wedding at ages 67 and 65, they met with their adult children present to discuss their financial plans. They want everyone to understand their intentions. No surprises, no hidden concerns. This transparency strengthened not only their relationship but also their blended family connections. As Confucius wisely taught, the strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. Financial integrity, complete honesty about your resources, obligations, and intentions builds trust and security in your new marriage. Consider what happened to the family of my friend Margaret. After her husband passed away, she remarried at 72 to Howard, who had 3 adult children of his own. The couple was blissfully happy for 8 years until Howard's passing. However, because they hadn't updated their estate plans after marriage, Howard's assets passed entirely to Margaret rather than being distributed partly to his children as he had intended. This created a rift between Margaret and her stepchildren that was never fully healed. Building on our discussion of financial matters, the third essential truth about remarrying after 60 involves the delicate balance of estate planning. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that what we do now echoes in eternity, and nowhere is this more evident than in how we plan for the distribution of our assets after we're gone. Remarriage naturally complicates estate planning. You now have 2 families to consider: your own children and possibly grandchildren, and your new spouse's family. Without careful planning, Unintended consequences can create lasting family discord that continues long after you've departed. My colleague attorney David Chen specializes in elder law and shared a sobering perspective. He's seen more family relationships destroyed by poorly planned estates than by almost any other cause. The saddest part is that most of these conflicts could have been prevented with thoughtful planning. Research from the Williams Institute shows that 67% of blended families experience some level of conflict over inheritance issues. Yet with proper planning, these conflicts can be minimized or avoided entirely. Now consider your own estate planning. If you were to pass away unexpectedly after remarriage, would your assets be distributed according to your wishes? Do your current legal documents reflect your intended legacy for both your new spouse and your existing family members? If you're uncertain, mark this as a priority for professional consultation. To revisit your estate plan before remarriage, consider these crucial steps. Update your will and trusts to reflect your new marital status. Consider creating a Q-tip trust, which can provide income for your surviving spouse, while ensuring the principal eventually passes to your children. Review and update beneficiary designations on retirement accounts and life insurance policies. Discuss plans for personal property and family heirlooms, which often hold emotional significance beyond their monetary value. As the Roman statesman Cato the Elder remarked, "After I'm dead, I'd rather have people ask why I have no monument than why I have one." Your true legacy is the harmony and well-being you leave behind for your loved ones. As the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu wisely observed, water is fluid, soft and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft, and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. The fourth and perhaps most profound truth about remarrying after 60 addresses the practical realities of merging two fully formed lives, habits, and preferences. By our 60s, we've typically established firm routines, preferences, and ways of living. Our homes reflect decades of accumulated choices, from the temperature we prefer for sleeping to how we organize our kitchen cabinets. When two people with decades of independent living merge households, adjustment is inevitable and often challenging. Barbara and Thomas experienced this firsthand when they married at ages 65 and 68. Barbara had lived alone for 12 years after her divorce and had established a quiet, orderly household with specific routines. Thomas, a widower of 3 years, was more spontaneous and admittedly messier. Their first few months living together were harder than either of them expected, Barbara confessed. She'd gotten so used to having things exactly her way. Their experience is common. According to research from the Gerontologist Journal, couples who remarry after 60 report household management and daily routine conflicts as one of their top 3 adjustment challenges. Thomas and Barbara eventually found their rhythm by consciously practicing flexibility. They had to recognize that neither of them was wrong in their preferences. They just needed to create a new normal that incorporated elements from both their styles. Consider these practical approaches to blending lifestyles. Before moving in together, have explicit conversations about daily routines, sleep habits, and cleanliness standards. Consider a trial run of living together before marriage. Designate personal spaces within your shared home where each partner can maintain their preferred environment. Be willing to compromise on some aspects while identifying non-negotiables that are essential to your well-being. As Aristotle taught, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. The initial adjustments of blending lifestyles may be challenging, but with patience and flexibility, most couples develop new routines that honor both partners' needs while creating something uniquely theirs. Take a moment to list your 3 non-negotiable daily habits or preferences, things you absolutely need for your well-being. Now, imagine how these might conflict with a partner's needs. What compromises might be possible? This simple exercise can help you prepare for the reality of lifestyle blending. Share your thoughts in the comment. The final truth about remarrying after 60 addresses 2 interconnected aspects that significantly impact your new marriage: family dynamics and health considerations. Heraclitus noted that everything flows and nothing abides. Everything gives way and nothing stays fixed. This principle is powerfully evident in how family relationships transform after remarriage and how health needs evolve as we age. When you marry after 60, you're not just joining with a partner. You're creating connections between family systems that have existed independently for decades. Adult children, grandchildren, and extended family members all become part of this new relational equation. Simultaneously, you're entering a partnership where health concerns and caregiving needs will likely become increasingly important factors. My friend Charles encountered significant resistance from his adult daughter when he announced his engagement to Diana at age 72. His daughter Jennifer was worried that Diana would replace her mother's memory and change family traditions. She was also concerned about how this would affect her inheritance and his availability to help with his grandchildren. These concerns are natural and should be addressed with compassion rather than defensiveness. After several honest conversations, Charles saw his daughter's attitude gradually shift. What ultimately changed things was seeing how genuinely happy Diana made him. Consider both your family dynamics and health status. How might your health needs affect your new spouse in 5 to 10 years? How might their health affect you? Are your families prepared for these possibilities? Write down your thoughts on how you might approach these conversations with loved ones. Beyond family dynamics, health considerations require frank discussion before remarriage. Dr. Elena Martinez, a geriatric specialist, advises that many couples in their 60s and beyond avoid discussing future health scenarios out of fear or discomfort. But clarity about expectations regarding caregiving, living arrangements during illness, and end-of-life wishes is essential before remarriage. Consider Michael and Judith, who married at 70 and 68. 3 years into their marriage, Michael was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. They had never discussed how we would handle a serious health condition. Judith found herself in a caregiving role she hadn't anticipated, while Michael felt tremendous guilt about becoming a burden so early in their marriage. Their situation improved dramatically after they sought counseling and had open discussions about care options, including when to bring in outside help. To navigate these complex considerations, communicate openly with adult children before making public announcements. Create opportunities for blended family members to build relationships at their own pace. Have explicit conversations about health histories and potential caregiving scenarios. Discuss and document your preferences for long-term care and end-of-life decisions. Consider meeting with a family therapist who specializes in blended families and later life transitions. Remember, these conversations aren't about planning for the worst. They're about creating clarity that allows your relationship to thrive through life's inevitable changes. As we reach the conclusion of our exploration into remarrying after 60, let's reflect on the 5 essential truths we've discovered together. First, emotional readiness transcends chronological age. Your capacity for love doesn't diminish with time, but your new relationship deserves to be built on emotional wholeness rather than a desperate fear of solitude. Second, financial transparency builds trust and protection. Open discussions about assets, debts, and financial intentions create security for both partners and prevent future conflicts. Third, Estate planning must be revisited with care to ensure your wishes for both your new spouse and existing family members are properly documented and legally protected. Fourth, blending lifestyles requires flexibility and patience as you merge two fully formed lives with established habits and preferences. And fifth, family relationships and health considerations will significantly impact your new marriage, requiring proactive communication and planning. Look back at your initial notes about your motivation for considering remarriage. Has your perspective changed after considering these 5 truths? What steps will you take next to prepare yourself for a potential remarriage? Consider sharing your insights with a trusted friend or counselor who can offer objective feedback. I encourage you to view these 5 truths not as obstacles but as guideposts, helping you navigate this significant life transition with wisdom, intention, and clear-eyed affection. By addressing these essential truths before saying "I do," you create the foundation for a union that honors your past while embracing the precious future that still awaits. If you found value in today's discussion, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with others who might benefit. What aspects of later life relationships would you like me to address in future videos? Leave your suggestions in the comments below. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next video.